The Republican break with Trump happened in a matter of hours, not weeks or months like everyone predicted. What political analysts expected to be a slow, agonizing process of Republicans gradually distancing themselves from Trump turned into a sudden, total collapse of support that caught even the most seasoned Washington insiders completely off guard. We're not talking about a few senators making carefully worded statements that could be walked back later. This is senior Republican leadership, major committee chairs, and longtime Trump allies all simultaneously announcing they can no longer support him, withdrawing their endorsements and calling for new party leadership. When Mitch McConnell convenes an emergency Republican caucus meeting and emerges 2 hours later to announce that Trump no longer has the confidence of Senate Republicans, when Kevin McCarthy tells reporters that House Republicans will not defend Trump's actions, and when the Republican National Committee suspends all coordination with Trump's campaign, you know the entire foundation has collapsed in real time. Hit that subscribe button right now because you won't want to miss any of the videos I release. So what triggered this lightning-fast abandonment? On March 8th at 2 p.m., major news networks simultaneously broke a story that Trump had been secretly recorded in a phone call with a foreign leader offering to share classified intelligence about U.S. military operations in exchange for personal business favors for his properties overseas. The recording, which was authenticated by multiple intelligence agencies and confirmed by participants in the call, reportedly includes Trump explicitly stating that he doesn't care about national security concerns and that he'll do whatever benefits him personally. Within 4 hours of that story breaking, the Republican Party infrastructure that had defended Trump through countless scandals completely disintegrated. This isn't about Republicans finally reaching their breaking point after accumulating grievances. This is about a single piece of evidence so damning that it made continued support politically impossible. Here's what's been building to this moment and why this particular revelation shattered all Republican defenses. For years, Republicans have defended Trump by arguing that allegations against him were either exaggerated, taken out of context, or based on unreliable sources. They could dismiss witness testimony as partisan, question the credibility of whistleblowers, and claim that critics were motivated by political animus. That entire defensive framework collapsed when major networks obtained authenticated audio recordings of Trump himself in his own voice, explicitly offering to betray national security for personal profit. There's no context that makes it acceptable, no way to claim witnesses misunderstood, and no ability to dismiss it as fake news when intelligence agencies have confirmed the recording's authenticity. The recording allegedly captures a conversation from February 14th between Trump and a foreign business associate who has documented ties to a hostile intelligence service. According to sources who've heard the full recording, Trump discusses upcoming U.S. military operations in a region where that foreign government has strategic interests, offers to delay or modify those operations in ways that would benefit the foreign power, and explicitly asks for favorable business deals for Trump properties in return. The conversation includes Trump acknowledging that what he's proposing would be problematic if anyone found out, but saying he's confident he can control who has access to sensitive information. Smash that like button if this is making sense so far. Here's where this becomes completely indefensible for Republicans. The recording doesn't just show Trump making a single poor decision or having a momentary lapse in judgment. It shows deliberate, calculated betrayal of national security for personal financial gain, with Trump fully aware that his actions are wrong and taking steps to conceal them. When you have the president's own voice planning to compromise military operations for business deals and discussing how to hide the evidence, there's simply no spin that makes it acceptable. What happened on March 8th between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. will be studied for decades as the fastest political collapse in modern American history. At 2:15 p.m., Mitch McConnell's office issued a statement saying the senator was reviewing the reports and would have no comment until he'd seen all available evidence. By 3:30 p.m., McConnell had convened an emergency meeting of all Republican senators. At 5:45 p.m., McConnell emerged from that meeting and read a prepared statement that ended Trump's viability as a Republican standard bearer. The statement said that Senate Republicans had been briefed by intelligence officials who confirmed the authenticity of the recording and the accuracy of the reporting about its contents, that the conduct described in the recording represents a fundamental betrayal of the presidential oath and national security, and that Trump no longer has the confidence or support of the Republican Senate caucus. McConnell then took no questions and returned to his office. Drop a comment right now if you saw this coming. I read every single one. The most stunning moment came at 6:10 p.m. when Kevin McCarthy, who has been among Trump's most loyal defenders in the House, held his own press conference. McCarthy's statement was even more damning than McConnell's. He stated that after reviewing the available evidence and consulting with Republican House leadership, he could no longer defend Trump's actions or support his candidacy. McCarthy specifically said that offering to compromise military operations for personal business gain crosses every line and violates every oath, and that House Republicans will not associate themselves with such conduct. The fact that McCarthy, who built his entire speakership around Trump loyalty, abandoned Trump within hours of the story-breaking signals that the evidence is so overwhelming that no political calculation could justify continued support. This isn't the first time Republicans have faced pressure to abandon Trump over scandalous revelations. The Access Hollywood tape in 2016 caused some Republicans to withdraw their endorsements temporarily, but most came back after calculating that supporting Trump was necessary to win the election. Trump's first impeachment over Ukraine saw Republicans defend him by arguing the evidence was ambiguous and the process was partisan. The second impeachment after January 6th saw some Republicans criticize Trump's conduct, but most of the party still voted against conviction. Subscribe immediately if you haven't yet. This content doesn't exist anywhere else. What makes the March 8th recording different is the combination of indisputable evidence, clear criminality, and the national security implications that even Trump's most ardent supporters cannot defend. You can argue about interpretations of phone call transcripts or dispute witness recollections, but you cannot dispute Trump's own voice explicitly offering to betray military operations for business deals. The evidence is too clear, the conduct is too serious, and the political cost of continued support finally exceeds any benefit Trump can provide. The pattern is unmistakable. Republicans will defend Trump through ambiguous situations where they can claim the evidence is disputed or the charges are overblown. But when confronted with Trump's own recorded voice committing what legal experts immediately identified as treason, espionage, and bribery, the political calculus shifts instantly from defending Trump to escaping association with him. So what specific elements of the recording made it impossible for Republicans to continue supporting Trump? According to intelligence officials who briefed congressional leaders, the recording includes several passages that constitute clear violations of federal law. First, Trump discusses specific details of planned military operations that are among the most highly classified secrets in the U.S. government. The operations involve intelligence gathering in hostile territory, and compromising them would endanger the lives of American personnel and foreign assets who cooperate with U.S. intelligence. Second, Trump explicitly offers to delay or modify those operations in ways that would benefit the foreign government in exchange for business deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars for Trump properties. That's textbook bribery and a violation of federal corruption statutes. Third, Trump discusses how to conceal the arrangement from his own national security advisors and intelligence officials, showing consciousness of guilt and evidence of conspiracy to obstruct justice. Don't go anywhere. The most explosive part is coming next. The recording allegedly includes Trump stating that he's the president and he can declassify anything he wants, so nobody can prove he did anything wrong, even if the arrangement is discovered. That statement destroys any possible advice of counsel defense and shows Trump knew he was breaking the law, but believed he was above accountability. This puts every Republican who's defended Trump in an absolutely untenable position. On one side, they've spent years arguing that Trump is the victim of politically motivated prosecutions and that allegations against him are baseless witch hunts. Now they're confronted with Trump's own recorded voice committing serious federal crimes that directly endanger American lives. Continuing to defend that conduct means defending treason and espionage, positions that would destroy their own political careers and potentially expose them to legal liability for obstruction. On the other side, abandoning Trump means facing the wrath of his base supporters who view any criticism of Trump as betrayal. But the political calculation has shifted because defending Trump after this recording means defending the indefensible. And Republican officials have concluded that their survival depends on immediate separation from Trump, regardless of the short-term political cost. And here's the reality that forced the rapid break. Multiple Republican senators and representatives consulted with their own legal counsel after the story broke, and those attorneys advised that continuing to defend Trump after hearing evidence of treason could potentially constitute aiding and abetting or obstruction of justice. When your own lawyers tell you that defending Trump might make you criminally liable, political loyalty becomes legally impossible. Legal and constitutional scholars are calling this the clearest case of presidential misconduct in American history. Jack Goldsmith, former Assistant Attorney General and Harvard Law professor, told CNN that if the recording is as described, Trump has committed multiple federal felonies, including bribery, espionage, and treason. There's no ambiguity here, Goldsmith explained. Offering to compromise military operations in exchange for personal business deals is the paradigmatic example of corrupt abuse of presidential power. Any lawyer would tell you this is criminal conduct. Former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuade added that the recording provides evidence of corrupt intent that prosecutors dream of having in criminal cases. When you have the defendant's own voice discussing the crime, acknowledging it's wrong, and planning how to conceal it, that's what we call a slam dunk case. The recording eliminates any possible defense based on misunderstanding, reliance on advice, or good faith. Do me a favor and slam that like button because it genuinely helps this video reach more people. Even conservative legal scholars who've defended presidential power in other contexts acknowledge that the conduct described in the recording exceeds any legitimate exercise of executive authority. John Yoo, who authored controversial legal memos expanding presidential power during the Bush administration, told Fox News that trading military secrets for personal profit is not a presidential power and never has been. The Constitution gives the president commander-in-chief authority to protect national security, not to sell it to the highest bidder. The immediate political impact has been seismic. Within 24 hours of the recording becoming public, 43 Republican senators and 187 Republican House members issued statements withdrawing their support for Trump. The Republican National Committee announced suspension of all coordination with Trump's campaign and cancellation of all joint fundraising agreements. Major Republican donors who funded Trump's political operation for years announced they would no longer contribute to any Trump-affiliated entity. Second, state Republican parties began emergency meetings to discuss how to handle Trump's presence in upcoming primaries. Several states are reportedly exploring whether state party rules allow them to exclude candidates who've been credibly accused of treason, even though no formal charges have been filed yet. Finally, this creates enormous pressure on the Justice Department to move quickly on criminal charges. With Republicans no longer defending Trump and his own party, calling his conduct treasonous, the political obstacles to prosecution have evaporated. Prosecutors who might have hesitated to indict a former president with strong political support now face a situation where Trump's own party has abandoned him. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. But beyond the political earthquake, this is fundamentally about whether former presidents can betray national security for personal profit and face consequences. The recording allegedly shows Trump explicitly choosing personal financial gain over the safety of American military personnel and intelligence officers. If that conduct results in no accountability because Trump's supporters remain loyal regardless, then the presidency effectively has no enforceable limits on corruption and betrayal. This scenario has caused absolute chaos within Republican circles. Party officials who spent years defending Trump must now explain why they supported someone who's now been caught on tape allegedly committing treason. Republican candidates in upcoming elections must decide whether to embrace or distance themselves from Trump, knowing that either choice alienates a significant portion of the party. And Trump himself faces the reality that his own party has concluded he's politically toxic and legally indefensible. Trump's response has been defiant but increasingly isolated. He's claimed the recording is a deep fake, despite intelligence agencies confirming its authenticity. He's attacked Republicans who abandoned him as weak and disloyal. He's threatened to run as an independent and destroy the Republican Party. But none of those responses change the fundamental reality that his own recorded voice allegedly shows him betraying national security, and his own party has decided they cannot defend that. Stay with me because what comes next will completely change how you see this. Here's what makes the rapid Republican break so significant. For years, conventional wisdom held that Trump had such a strong grip on the Republican base that party officials could never abandon him without destroying their own careers. The March 8th collapse proves that there are some transgressions so severe that political loyalty becomes impossible regardless of base support. When the evidence is Trump's own voice committing treason, even the most loyal allies cannot continue defending him. This goes far beyond whether Trump can win the Republican nomination. It's about whether American democracy can survive when presidents believe they can betray national security for personal gain without facing accountability. If Trump faces no consequences for allegedly trading military secrets for business deals, then future presidents will know they can engage in any level of corruption without meaningful repercussions. The stakes are existential. If this blows your mind, hit that like button right now. Here's the situation. An authenticated recording allegedly captures Trump offering to compromise military operations for personal business deals. Intelligence agencies have confirmed the recording's authenticity. Within 4 hours of the story breaking, Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy both announced that Trump no longer has Republican support. Within 24 hours, hundreds of Republican officials withdrew their endorsements. The RNC suspended all coordination with Trump's campaign. His own party called his conduct treasonous. This represents the fastest and most complete political collapse in modern American history. Keep watching because developments are accelerating. The Justice Department is reportedly preparing criminal charges. More Republicans are expected to call for Trump's prosecution. Intelligence officials are assessing damage to national security from the compromised operations Trump allegedly discussed. And political analysts are watching to see whether Trump's base support holds or whether even his most loyal supporters cannot defend alleged treason captured on audio recording. Before we go any further, smash that subscribe button so you never miss content like this. Here's where things stand right now. The Republican Party has completely broken with Trump in a matter of hours following the revelation of a recording that allegedly captures him betraying national security for personal profit. Senate and House Republican leadership have withdrawn support. Hundreds of Republican officials have rescinded endorsements. The RNC has suspended all cooperation with Trump's campaign. His own party is calling his conduct treasonous and indefensible. This isn't a temporary setback that Trump can overcome with better messaging or political strategy. This is the permanent collapse of Republican support based on evidence that party officials have concluded makes continued association with Trump politically suicidal and potentially legally dangerous. Either the legal system holds Trump accountable for allegedly trading military secrets for business deals, establishing that no one is above the law regardless of political position, or Trump faces no consequences and future presidents know they can betray national security with impunity. What happens next will determine whether American constitutional democracy has enforceable limits on presidential corruption and betrayal. The recording exists. The party has abandoned him. The charges are coming. Now we wait to see if accountability still functions when the evidence is overwhelming and the alleged crimes are treasonous. The stakes for American democracy have never been higher. The evidence has never been clearer. And the political collapse has never happened faster. Pause for a second and hit that like button if you're finding value in this coverage of the most rapid and complete political abandonment in American history.